Hi, it's Michael from Heroic Lives. It's been a couple of years since I've done any posts, and I thought I would give a brief explanation of what's been going on and plans for the channel. My last post was looking at doing weekly content, but some things changed right after that post, and they were pretty big changes, so that did delay it, and I should have said something at the time, but I wasn't sure where we were going and what we were doing. It turns out that we were going to be moving abroad. We were living in Missouri and in the United States, and we're going to be going to Germany. And that, as you can imagine, is a pretty big change, and I wasn't sure what the future of the channel would hold as we went through this really big transition. We arrived in Germany in June 2022, just at the tail end of the pandemic, and there was some adjustments there, but things went okay. I got hired, my wife got hired, but the transition with a family, we have 5 kids, was a bit harder than I thought it would be, getting them situated in school, kindergarten, things like that. And I also was struggling with depression, and that was not easy to deal with in a new environment. A little background, I used to live in Germany when I was doing my education. I got my master's degree in Germany, so it's not that I didn't know Germany well, but I had never known it as a parent. I had never known it as a Catholic, because I became Catholic in 2013, and I had never known it as a real adult, because as a student, I guess I didn't feel like a complete adult. And so moving over here was difficult. Let me recount some of the things that happened that triggered some of the depression that I went through, though I have gotten a lot better on that, and some of the experiences in the church, etc. When we first got here, we didn't even know we were going to live. We had sold our home, and we were looking for a place to live, and I was surprised, and I'm not sure why I was surprised, but I was surprised to find out that it is difficult to find a home that wants to rent to you if you have 5 kids, especially 5 small kids. And we wanted to live near Oma, which is grandma in German, and near my wife's mother. It wasn't happening. We couldn't find anything in her hometown. And though we were looking even in a wide radius, we weren't finding anybody who was willing to take on so many kids as tenants. And that was discouraging. And amidst the stress of that, my father-in-law had a second stroke. He'd had one 2 years prior, which is one of the reasons we had decided to come over. We wanted the kids to grow up with Oma and Opa, and he had a close call there and has lingering symptoms of that event, but that happened while we were still living in their house. As you can imagine, he needs quiet and space, and we were much louder than he needed. And that was an additional stress factor. I took a job teaching, and it turns out I actually really liked teaching. I had been doing other things, more administrative things and fundraising, and had found out how much I missed teaching, which I had done before that. And maybe that's something I like about the channel, is that I can share prayers and other ideas and things of that nature for what's most important to me, which is my faith. I took on the teaching job, and it went really well for the first year, and I was teaching German, which surprised even me, because they were native Germans I was teaching to, and apparently over the years my German's gotten good enough. I did study German. I was in a PhD program for German, though I didn't finish that. I don't care for academia personally, and I didn't see any reason beyond the master's degree to pursue that. My wife got hired as a librarian, and we were doing okay there until the second year came, and there was major change at work, new administration, and that was a major stress factor, which triggered some of the depression. In addition, the kids were getting older, old enough to be able to do things that are difficult for us to handle sometimes, and so we were working through that. And so last winter was pretty difficult, and I really clung to my faith, because that's what you need to do. Without faith, I don't know how you get through those things, but I did. And the spring came, and part of it is just weather related and the light. It's very dark here, in the winter because we have longer winter days in Germany and longer summer days than what I was accustomed to. And in the summer right now, we have very long days, so that's been helpful. And I decided to switch, and I am teaching at a new school starting next week. So that's good, and I have the feeling like we're finally arriving after 2 years of settling in and trying to get everything sorted out, bureaucratic things, an international move, and maybe I'll talk more about the specifics of getting a container and things like that at another time, is stressful. And it's taken us 2 years to feel like we're sort of home. We're still not in the house we would like to be in. That's maybe the next step over the next few years to think about that. We are renting a house. We are not far from Speyer, and I'm sure Speyer will come up in some of these videos. And maybe let's talk about the church. Germany has a reputation for having a very liberal church and a church with few people attending. I know France also has that reputation, and some other European countries do as well. My impression of the church in Germany is pretty much that, though I witnessed some of that in the United States as well, even in St. Louis. I have also come across some very faithful priests. They certainly are around. There are some who have gone out of their way to make us feel welcome, inviting my oldest son to be an altar server. That was really great. We've made a home mostly in the diocese here in Speyer, going to Mass in Speyer, which is spelled Speyer. And Speyer made the news about a year ago. The bishop had some controversial statements, and I've seen those on other channels. I'm not going to get into those right now. I want to just try to stay focused on the positive. I really do like the liturgy at the cathedral itself. Yes, I have run into some very odd things at other places. One time went to a Jesuit parish and heard about Jesus as the daughter of God. It was certainly too far, and I ended up walking out. I just was not ready to hear that kind of stuff. There's no reason for it. It just feels very political. The other thing that I have witnessed that maybe I am wandering away from being positive, but I have seen a lay woman give a homily before. I have seen circling the altar, but again, I've seen that in America as well. There are a few people who do receive kneeling on the tongue, and that's good. It didn't work at first in 2022, where it was mostly banned for that summer, but as the pandemic kind of came to an end, that was allowed again, and I have not had any issues with that, which is good. The churches are pretty old, meaning not the age of the buildings themselves, but the congregations are very old. And speaking of that, one of our first experiences, we live in a somewhat rural area, though, that's relative for Germany. We're not far from big cities at all, but there are farms around us, and I do actually like the semi-rural, semi-suburb feel of where we are. But one time, right when we had arrived, kind of adding to the stress of everything, my wife was circled by the old women of a local parish and really reprimanded for our kids squirming and being loud. Right now, they're aged 2 to 9, so this was 2 years ago. They were even younger. And it really was hurtful that they didn't make us feel at all welcome to the community. Talked to the priest, he hadn't even noticed it. But the older women of the parish were so abrasive that my wife doesn't want to go to that parish anymore, which is one of the reasons why we go down the road a little bit. There is Latin Mass in Germany. I have seen Latin Mass at several places. I'll start with the first place I saw it at, or attended Mass at, was the FSSP parish in Weinheim. It's a bit far for us. I really like it, but the distance is prohibitive. One of the things I got from them was the FSSP 1960 Latin Breviary, which I have come to really enjoy. Maybe more on that at another time. We don't go strictly to Latin Mass. I like Latin Mass, and me personally, I would be happy to go to Latin Mass for all Masses. There's a Saturday Latin Mass just down the road, 10 minutes away, that's excellent. And there's one maybe about half an hour away every Sunday. We do attend the cathedral quite often, and for the most part, things are going well there. One other update is that I am discerning a call to the secular Carmelites. They are about an hour north of here in Mainz, and have been with them for a year. And in about a year, I will complete my training, and that would be the earliest time that I could make simple promises. In the United States, I had also looked at the Dominicans, and they're a great group too. But the Carmelite spirituality has been highlighted by this whole change in our lives. This finding God anywhere, this contemplative existence, and the inner castle started to really resonate with me. I've always worn the brown scapular. I think everybody should. I was also enrolled in the blue scapular because I love the Immaculate Conception. That's something I've always really liked. So as I continue to discern and think about Carmelites and attend those meetings, and next spring I have a multi-day retreat and training course. I think for the most part we found home in Germany as far as the church is concerned. There are problems. I try to ignore the big ones. I can only do what I can do. And I focus on the welcoming priests, and there certainly are some of those. There are also priests who do the liturgy very well and some who don't. But I try to remind myself, in the States, I also saw some very odd things at Mass as well. It's about connecting to Jesus. He is everything, the absolute center. And I yearn for him, as I assume many people do who are on this channel, yearn for him with our whole hearts. And we can find him anywhere. In fact, I meditate sometimes on St. Teresa of Calcutta, who said, home is where the Eucharist is, and the Eucharist is here. Some of the changes are that it's harder to find adoration chapels here as compared to the United States. There is one that I know of that's not far, so that really is all that matters. And it's not 24 hours, but it is all day. So that is a possibility, and I'm very thankful for that. But just focusing on God, and right now the inward journey through contemplation. As to the future of this channel, I'm open to all sorts of things. Prayer is right at the very forefront of my interests, and most of the videos so far have been prayers, and I can continue doing prayers. But I also thought about maybe giving some commentary and some things going on in my own life and my own unique perspective as an American living in Germany, raising a family here in Germany, and growing in my Carmelite spirituality. So I would appreciate comments if there's a particular direction that you would like to see happen, more on prayer, more on the Eucharist, more on contemplation. But obviously it's really going to be, besides my own personal experiences, just Catholic content. And that's what I'm interested in doing, and I hope that you'll be along for the journey, and that you'll like this video, and that you'll comment and let me know what you think would be helpful to you. There are already Catholic commentators, but I do think they each bring their own unique perspective. Some are from other countries, some are from other bents or views, and I am also a unique perspective in that I am fairly traditional, that I do really like the Latin Mass, but I'm not solely Latin Mass, and I'm experiencing what it's like to go from a mostly Catholic, at least a large portion of St. Louis, Missouri is Catholic, to an area that is less so. We're not in Bavaria. We are kind of in the southwest of Germany, near France, and experiencing that perspective might be interesting to English speakers, particularly from America or Great Britain. So let me know what you think, and I'm happy to start bringing more content. This time I have thought about it for quite a while, and I really do want to be regularly doing something. This is something that I felt called to do. I had a break as I needed some space, and I am ready to return. So let me know what you think in the comment box, and I will be posting again soon. God bless.